focus on was Darfur.
This is an overview of the genocide. On December 9th, 1948, United Nations assembled to define what genocide is, which is the intent to destroy part of or whole of an ethnical, racial, or group. The crimes for genocide under international law are defined when you're killing members of the group, you're causing serious bodily or mental harm, you're inflicting damage to their lifestyle and affecting their health, preventing births within the group so they could grow larger, and transferring groups to other groups by cell.
We just want to let you know this is just a recap of what we already know on what genocide, the actual term means. So, don't worry, we'll read this out to you. But so far, we just want to know exactly what do you know about Darfur and Sudan. So I'm going to ask you some questions, and I'd like if you raise your hand for what letter you think it is. So the first question is, where is Sudan located? A, Eastern Africa, B, Southern Africa, or C, the Middle East? Who votes for A? Who votes for B? Who votes for C? Well, not everyone voted, but those who voted C are wrong. It was
B.
A, Eastern Africa.
I voted.
It's okay. 2, how big is Darfur? A, the size of France. B, 1/4 the size of the U.S. Or C, the size of New York.
C. B.
A, raise your hand.
No.
B, raise your hand. And C, raise your hand.
Hey.
Not everyone's voting, but that's okay. And once again, you guys are all wrong. It's A.
I said A.
The size of France.
I said A.
Okay, number 3. When did the conflict in Darfur start? A, February of 2003, B, July 2004, or C, January 2005?
2003.
Let's A, raise your hand.
A.
B, raise your hand. And C. You guys are right the first time. It's A, February 2003. No. What is the, number 4, what is the approximate population of Sudan? A, 20 to 25 million, B, 35 to 40 million, or C, 15 to 20 million?
A.
Who votes for A? Who votes for B? And who votes for C? It's B.
Yes.
35 to 40 million. Number 5, approximately how many people have been killed in the recent years in Darfur? A, 750,000 to 850,000, B, 50,000 to 100,000, or C, 200,000 to 400,000. Is it A, B, C?
C.
It's C.
Woo! Look at that.
Last one. Approximately how many people have been forced to leave their home due to the violence? A, 2.5 million, B, 800,000, or C, 1.4 million? Who votes for A? Who votes for B? And who votes for C?
C.
It's A.
Oh.
So it's okay that you guys don't know that much about Darfur or Sudan, but hopefully during this presentation you'll understand exactly what's happening and know that this genocide is happening right now. It's going on today, it's going to go on tomorrow, it's going to go on next week, and hopefully you just learned a lot about the history and the background of it.
Alright, this is the map of Sudan. This is Sudan right here, and this is the neighboring Chad. As I'll explain why Chad is so important in this next door neighbor in Sudan. And that's the other side. This is how big Sudan is right here, and Darfur is right in this area. Next, this is the historical contact. The area Muslim conquered Egypt during the 6th century, and they replaced it. The Christianity that was there before got replaced by Islamic. And the Egyptians conquered Sudan in 1874, and then the Britain and the Egypt came together like as one power and took over Sudan in 1882. Yeah, took us to there in 1889. Sorry about that. And then after that, some years later, 1953, Sudan was granted to self-govern themselves. And then after that, 3 years later, they got their independence in 1956. That's when they got their independence, January 1st. And then the power went to northern Sudan, and then after that got the power in northern Sudan, there was problems in the south, and most of the power went there, so like conflict started around their area. And then once Sudan got their started governing themselves, they didn't know how to govern themselves really well because they wasn't trained to govern their own countries like that. That only took like a year. After that, stuff started going downhill. And then after that, the fundamentals Islamic law came into play in 1983, which means that the Arabs wanted one religious race out of the whole Sudan. So basically, they wanted to kick out the black Muslims and all the non-Arabs, so they can live one pure race, like Hitler did. That the Nazis wanted one pure race. So that's what happened. That's what's going on right now with non-Arab. And then this is where the Civil War began. It started with different religions, languages, ethnicities, and political power. That's what fueled the war even more, because it's all different. Everybody's got his different tribes and stuff like that. And then National Islamic Front is the power people, the Muslims in the north, and the southern rebels but they name themselves by Anya movement. That's the rebels in the south. So those are the two different names who are fighting. North is National Islamic Front, and the south is can't pronounce the name, movement. After that, Arabia Peace Agreement came into play in 1972, and the Civil War erupted even more high because the south of Sudan had oil and all that stuff because they wanted more power and money, which means that the north wanted to take over the south. Because power and money you got rule the world, so you got oil and stuff. And then the Civil War lasted 19 years as a total. And then after that, 2 million citizens died, and then 4 million Southerners was displaced, which means that Arabian Muslims was kicking out the non-Muslims like Africans, different tribals, and other different religions. So basically, they're kicking them out like the Nazis would kicked out the Jews and send them out their own country. The Southerners referred as the lost generation because it was a lack of education, healthcare. The food was short and the water was bad because it was so dry over there, desert dry. It's people were dying of thirst, hunger, sickness, and it was famine going over there right now. Then the peace treaty was signed, and the rebels feel that the government was helping them. So then, the government didn't feel like it was helping them. So that's where the crisis started erupting, and then after that, the government started saying that, there was there's no war going on over here, there's no genocide. They're trying to cover it up some way.
All right, so this is the president that's here right now. His name is Omar Hassan al-Bashir, and this is basically his early life. He was born January 1st, 1944, attended military academy, served in the Western headquarters from 1967 to 1969. He got his Master's of Science in Military Staff College in 1981 and was put in command of the 8th Brigade fighting the rebels in the southern Sudan in 1988. So from the get, we know that he has a military background, and he had already had basically